What's good, you guys? It's Cali Green 2 Fresh, holding it down. Carnival Spirits. We be those ninjas in action. It's the year of the gnome, and this is the return of Interview with the Juggalo. I'm on the phone with KREYZ McKORMIK. What's good, man?
What the fuck is up? KREYZ McKORMIK up in this motherfucking dick, man.
That's right. This has been months upon months coming, man.
No shit, man. I was like, honestly, like, I remember that you wanted me to do this interview, and then shit on my end ended up changing, and I had to get one of those quote-unquote real jobs, so that really fucked with a lot of shit, too.
Yeah, and then I had a bunch of shit happen all at once as well. I don't know if you know, I've been in 2 car accidents this past year.
Oh, no, I knew nothing about that, sir.
Yeah, like the first one was really bad, and then the second one was pretty bad as well. But I mean, I've been doing like physical therapy and shit like that, trying to rebuild my back. So shit hasn't been the greatest in my area, but you know, getting there.
Right. Well, yeah, man, keep doing what you're doing. Get better, get healthy.
Yeah, that's all I can do. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about you and, you know, your hustle, if you want to call it that.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess, first of all, you know, let everyone know who you are and what it means to you to be a Juggalo.
Well, I am KREYZ McKORMIK. I've been a YouTuber for nearly 10 years. That's usually what my prime sole content on YouTube is actually about. I've been down with the clowns for, 23 years now. And, you know, when I first listened to the music, it really touched me. It almost felt like it was as if the whole Juggalo thing was like, you know, for me, it felt like Violent J and Shaggy were walking behind me, just writing down all my thoughts and feelings about certain circumstances and people just, like, right behind me as I would be walking down the street. To me, being a Juggalo is, you know, obviously, everybody's got their opinion on what a Juggalo is to them. For me, personally, obviously, it's got to be a part of the music. It's what the music makes you feel.
Right. So, when was the first time you actually heard ICP? Like, how old were you, you know, and how were you introduced?
This is a good story. This event dates back to 1995, and what had happened was my one and only friend that I had in elementary and middle school, he was going through a pretty rough patch, and what had happened was his father had a heart attack and passed away due to the cardiac arrest. So he wasn't really feeling, he was feeling kind of out of sorts about everything. And this kid used to be a very good kid, you know, A student, in the band, algebra, very smart kid. And at some point or another, because of his father's passing, he just went the opposite route. Started skipping school. When he was in school, he was getting in trouble, stopped turning in homework, dropped out of everything, you know, just being highly rebellious and everything. So one day I decided to go to my mom's, and I told her, listen, David is having a lot of issues, and I think he needs a friend. He was there for me in 4th grade when I needed a friend, and he needs a friend now. I think we need to set something up so that way I can fucking see what I can do about helping him out. Maybe turn some things around or something. She set it up with his mom, so I fucking go over there. You know, we didn't really talk much about the shit that was going down. I just knew that everything that was going down was really fucking him up. And I wanted to be there for him. But, you know, just to try to get his mind off of everything, be there for him if he wants to say something, and he really didn't. Instead, we just ended up playing PlayStation. And I remember the video game that we ended up playing, too, even. It was too extreme for the PlayStation. And as I'm playing my turn, he ends up saying, all right, I got to go to the bathroom, I'll be right back. So he goes to the bathroom, and he comes back, and he's got a boom box with him. and he sets it down, he puts a cassette into the tape deck, and he hits play, and I started hearing the intro to Riddlebox. And so, you know, I'm not thinking anything of it, I'm just playing my game and everything, but then once that karaoke music started kicking into the fucking album, I started looking at it and I was like, what is this shit? Like, what is this? David, what is this that you're listening to? He's like, oh, dude, this is ICP. I've been listening to this for the last few months. It's actually really helped me out. Really been helping me out clear my head and everything. And I was like, really? So, in between turns, we'd be listening to, you know, like we were listening to the music and everything. And it probably wasn't until about the time Dead Body Man came up. And I listened to the intro, and it sounded, you know, because at the age of 12, it sounded like, it sounded like the intro to Dead Body Man actually was something from the news. And as the guy's explaining stuff, I was like, did you turn it back on the radio or something? He's like, no, this is still the tape. And I hear, what kind of sick fuck would steal 4 dead bodies anyways? Details at 11. And I lost it. I fucking fell off my chair just laughing my ass off at at that specific point in the intro. And I was like, my God, like, I cannot believe how fucking hilarious that was. He looked at me in surprise because of how funny I thought it was. But then I continued to listen to the album, and after that I was starting to listen to it a little bit more carefully. And I was listening to the way that he was explaining things in Dead Body Man. I started listening to the way things were explained in 12 and Old Evil Eye. And immediately I started getting it. I was like, you know, these guys use horror themes and dark humor to kind of explain the world around them in a ways. You know, and being a wrestling fan, I was like, okay, yeah, this was kind of a gimmick. So, like, the whole Killer Clown thing was a gimmick and everything. You know, that registered immediately in my head. And I enjoyed the hell out of it. We probably listened to it maybe once or twice after that, like the whole album. But after the play date was done with, my mom ended up picking me up and taking me home. And it actually wasn't until 2 years later, when I was in junior high, in 9th grade, that people started bringing up ICP again. Because I went to a parochial school half of, you know, like from pre-K all the way to 8th grade. And then when I started going to public school, things were vastly different. It was a culture shock. And people actually knew what the fuck ICP was. And I started listening to some of the things that people were talking about it. And it seemed like, being in Michigan, it seemed like the whole thing with the Juggalo shit was kind of fresh, especially in my circle of people that I talked to. It was like this was the freshest thing on the fucking planet. And so that year I was 14, and my mom ended up giving me a booklet, and she said, look through this, find 6 CDs you want, and that's your birthday present. And so I flipped through it, and I ended up finding the Great Malenko up on there, and that was the first sticker that I put on the BMG catalog listing. And then after that, it was a bunch of other stuff like Sugarloaf and whatever.
Well, shit, that's crazy fresh. I remember those catalogs too. But
interesting postscript to the BMG thing. I actually ended up having one of those CDs sent back to BMG, and I ended up getting, like I said, I got Malenko. I ended up getting Sugar Ray Floored, the Blind self-titled album. Adam Sandler's What the Hell Happened to Me. I think it was Monster Magnet. The Monster Magnet's debut album, and then the Verve Pipes Villains album. And when I got them, I put them all in a CD case, and my stepdad saw it and he got pissed because he was not happy about me having the Adam Sandler album. I was like, I don't know why you think this is a big deal. It's just comedy. He's like, well, you know, he's offensive with some of the things that he says. I'm like, there's a lot of things that are offensive in the things that people say. Like, listen to Judas Priest. More than half of his popular songs are about him being in the closet. He didn't say anything to me after that. But one day I woke up, because like how I would normally wake up is my mom would open up my door and tell me it's time to get ready for bed. That was my alarm. So I hear my door creak slowly open, and one eye opens up, and I see my stepdad. And I see him go to my CD case, open up my CD case, pull out a CD, close it, and leave the room. I waited about 5 minutes after that to get out, because I knew that's the amount of time that it would take for him to get out of the house, get into his car, and go to work. And as soon as 5 minutes were up, I jumped out of bed, I looked into my CD case, and there it was, an empty space in my CD case. The funny thing about it is that the empty spot was right next to Great Malenko, and Adam Sandler's What the Hell Happened to Me was missing. I reminded my mom of that about 5 years ago. And I was like, yeah, good choice there, Mom.
Well, it's interesting, like, you know, he takes the Adam Sandler CD having no idea what the fuck ICP was.
Right.
Because that...
Like, he heard about the Adam Sandler CD, but he never had heard Insane Clown Posse. No one at work knew about it or anything like that. There's a lot of people trying to tell him, oh yeah, Adam Sandler is crass. I'm like, you know, we were raised Lutheran, and I think that might have been what it was. It was just like, we don't want to hear that Jew comedy in our household. No, I'm playing. It ain't like that. But for real though, like, I thought it was hilarious because of you know, just because of how crass Insane Clown Posse is in comparison to Adam Sandler.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. So, all right, you discover ICP. At what point in time did you actually make it out to a show? Because I know out there in Michigan, Juggalos are fucking crazy. You know, I'm originally from Indiana, and over there it's just probably not as big, but we had a lot of people come in from like Michigan, and that's how it got spread to Indiana. And I remember I was like 3rd grade when I was introduced, and around that time, you know, I can relate to your homie. I had a couple deaths in the family, and I started vibing ICP, and that's how I really got introduced. But whenever I lived in Fort Wayne, which is, you know, right there on the Michigan border, fucking the amount of Juggalos was insane. It's ridiculous. But when was the first time you made it out to a show and really got the full, like, clown, like, you know, introduction?
The first show that I ever went to, the first clown show that I ever went to, technically was in 2002 with Twisted's Mirror Show. I was deep into the music. Like, I immersed myself into the music all throughout high school. Any chance that I got to jump onto a computer to look up sites on Yahoo or Mama.com, which was prominent at the time, anytime that I could jump on a search engine and do a search for Insane Clown Posse, I would. But I never went to shows because all of my jobs were shit jobs. I spent more money probably buying the CDs than I was buying merchandise or buying CDs or anything of that nature. But it just ended up coming across at the time. I was in a long-distance relationship with somebody in Monroe, Michigan, which is just about maybe 45 minutes south of Detroit. And so I would drive over to her house every weekend, and we'd build and everything. And she ended up asking me if I was planning on going to the Twisted show in Grand Rapids. She's like, you live in Grand Rapids, you should know about this Twisted show, right? I said, I actually had absolutely no idea about it. See, like over here in Grand Rapids at the time, I wasn't really around a lot of Juggalos. There was probably like a very small group of ninjas that I knew about, and they didn't know anything more than I did. So there wasn't, you know, I didn't know where to look to try to find shows or anything like that. And this girl that lives in South Detroit fucking knows about it. And I'm like, are you going to go? She's like, yeah, hell yeah. You know, this was around the time that Violent J and Shaggy were in hiding. Little did we know that Jay was probably, like, on the bus during that tour, even when we were in Grand Rapids. So I ended up going to that show. It was at a place called The Intersection. It looked pretty much like a small bar, probably could only fit like 400 people in there. But we ended up going in there. They had this opening band called Dig Six Down, and it was like an actual 5-piece band. But the coolest thing was that they ended up doing a metal cover of Everybody Rise. They knew that that was going to be something that was going to get the Juggalos into them, and I dug it. Didn't buy any of their shit though. I was still too broke to buy anything. After that, it was Blazy Dead Homie doing the shit, and he was so fucking high that he couldn't remember half of his fucking lines. But it didn't stop anybody from fucking having a ball. And after that was Twisted. And Twisted ended up fucking killing the stage. Doing all of the good hits and everything from Most Tasteless, Mirror Mirror, which had just come out like a year prior. And also the shit that they had that was, all of the good shit that they had for fucking Freak Show. And it was entertaining as hell. And after that, I was like, yeah, this is definitely where I belong. All of these people that are here, united under one complete fucking banner, and just going nuts and having a great time. That's also what chaos I started getting myself into it as well. No mosh pits or anything like that, but I did find myself like, I'm the asshole who is in the fucking back of the area hawking loogies in the air to try to hit people in the front.
That's fucked up.
Like it. So anybody that's actually listening, if back in any time between 2002 and 2012, if you felt a loogie hit you in the back of the neck, yeah, that was probably me. I didn't care. I was like, fuck it. Everybody here is out of their fucking minds, and I love it.
Yeah, man, like, I know a lot of those earlier, in the earlier days, the shows were fucking crazy, and they still are, but the thing that I found crazy was, like, how there's so many people that just felt the same way as me, and yeah, none of us really knew what the fuck was going on. We all just vibed off of each other and just rolled with it. But I know...
Yeah, see, like... I was going to say, like, back in the day, like, it wasn't like it is now. Back in the day, it was pretty much... It was a little bit softer than some of the shit that most people would see when they watch documentary. Because documentary, obviously, stopped back in 97. Shit was insane then. But, like, 5 years after that, shit kind of tends to slow down a little bit. Some of us have gotten older and things of that nature, but there's still some specks of those roots that I think a lot of us in the Juggalo community still hold near and dear to our hearts. That insanity and those memories and everything.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, I know I hold those memories, like, deep in my fucking heart. Like, my first show was, like, 97, so... And I was young as fuck. I was 10 in 97. But I'll never forget, first time I saw ICP, like, it was like at a bar, but, it was all ages for the event. And, it was fucking packed all the way to the back, and we were in the very back. My mom didn't know, like, anything about the Faygo or anything about that, and, luckily, we were in the back, because she would have shit her fucking pants if she got covered in Faygo. She would have been pissed. But, like, all they had for stage props was 2 refrigerators or it might have even been just 1, but they had, like, a refrigerator on stage full of Faygo. And then they had a big bucket of Faygo in the center, and that is it. That was the stage. But the crowd was so fucking wild, it was ridiculous. And yeah, shows back then were insane, and it's a little different now, like, especially with the divide and all of that, which brings up my next question. You know, having Twisted been your first show and, you know, holding those memories so deep in your heart, how does it make you feel knowing what's going on with the divide in the Juggalo community?
Well, when it first started going down, man, I felt betrayed by Twisted. And you know, anybody who watched my videos on my channel, you could tell. I felt very betrayed by the way that Twisted ended up handling things. It was as if somebody else was kind of under the reins of what it is that they were saying and what they were doing. So when I found out that Twisted was not even going to be a part of the march, it was like, wait a minute, y'all. I thought y'all said, you know, we got nothing but love for y'all. I thought you said that, you know, you'll do anything for the fucking Juggalo community. Wouldn't the march be a part of that? You know? I mean, yeah, I can understand loyalty when it concerns, like, the fact that ROC didn't want to fucking go. You know? Ishan didn't want to go. And both of them probably ended up deciding to decline that shit because they have similar reasons. I remember reading the reason why Ishan decided to decline it was because I believe he said, being a black man, he stands in protest every day. So it's like, okay, yeah, I can understand that. I can understand ROC saying, you know, I don't want to be in politics or anything like that. But at the same time, you're a celebrity. You know, no matter what you do or what you don't do, it's going to be politics. Being a YouTube personality, I've began to understand that a little ways. But there's still something that's there when you're like, look, you're willing to give the shirt off of your back for support of the fan base. You know, the fan base that got you there. It's the least that you could do is just to throw support in one way, shape, or form. You know? But instead, when they said, we're declining the march, but we're still going to do Juggalo Day, it was like, oh, okay. I see how it is. Y'all are just in it for the fucking money. Way to pull the wool over my eyes and the eyes of a lot of other Juggalos for the last fucking, 20 years, almost? It really fucking hurt. And I expressed that very heavily in my video when I said, you know, no love from Twisted. And I, you know, sit in my car at night, fucking just screaming. I was so fucking pissed off. That was probably one of those real fucking reaction videos that I've ever put up. And it has not gotten any better at any given time ever since that shit went down. Ever since that shit went down, Twisted has continually dug themselves a deeper hole. No matter what they've said, no matter what they've done, they've, you know, it just continues to make it till they dig a deeper hole. And it's infuriating them. And that's one of those things that just, you know, for me, I was like, okay, that's it. I no longer support Twisted. I'm not going to buy any of their albums. I'm not going to listen to any of their shit. I don't care how much shit they fucking pump out. And unfortunately, because of the fact that I know that whatever other artists that are on that label, on Magic Ninja, they're not going to get any of my support either, because that's money, you know, because a portion of those sales end up going into the company, and the money that goes into the company is supposed to fucking pay the CEOs and all of the staff. So, and since Twisted is part of that staff and their CEOs, even if I bought something from Gorilla Voltage, which I thought Gorilla Voltage was very, you know, is a very talented group. You know, Twisted's gonna get some of that money. Blaze, my favorite fucking rapper on that label. You know, he was one of my favorite rappers on Psychopathic when he was on there. He no longer gets any of my money because I know some of that is going to go to Twisted. And it hurts so much, the fact that I, you know, am doing that. But it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like I have to stick to my conviction.
I feel it, man. It's crazy, like, how this Juggalo divide has affected, you know, the community so much. I mean, there was a time where the underground was just thriving, you know. Before Magic Ninja, we had psychopathic, strange music, suburban noise, and it felt like, you know, the underground was going in that direction to, you know, near mainstream, you know, like it's crazy. And then what happens, suburban noise, you know, that shit imploded on itself.
Yeah. You know, there were like so many other groups and so many other labels that ended up coming out and were recognized by the Juggalo community because of Psychopathic. Some of them, off the top of my head, I can say, you know, obviously, you know, you mentioned some of the big ones, Sub Noise, Strange, Magic Ninja, now Magic Ninja, but also, like, you know, SKR, is another one, fucking Q Strange ended up being one of them. Like, I ended up finding out about Q Strange because of that shit. Kung Fu Vampire, being another one. And, you know, LSP, you know, like everybody that was on Tumble Runners, everybody that was in Underground Psychos, back in 2005. You know, if it wasn't for Psychopathic, we probably wouldn't have this shit. If it wasn't for Psychopathic Records and me being a Juggalo, I would have never learned about Necro. I would have never learned about Ill Bill, Vinny Paz, you know, La Coca Nostra and shit like that. Like, I wouldn't know about all of that shit. There wouldn't have been a big resurgence of some bands like fucking, you know, like fucking Onyx, you know, Bone Thugs and Harmony, DMX. There wouldn't be a fucking resurgence of even the great Danny Kaye. We probably wouldn't have as much love for, like, Froggy Fresh as some of us do. And there's so much shit that ends up trickling down because of Psychopathic. And I gotta tell you this though. There was an episode of Live with CPN where he ended up doing an interview with Kung Fu Vampire, and Kung Fu Vampire ended up actually saying something about the whole thing with the divide, and how some of us that refuse to support artists just because of the label that they're on, it ends up trickling down as well, and it ends up hurting some other people in the community. So, like, it basically is like, okay, if you're not, you know, if say Kung Fu Vampire ends up doing a joint venture with Magic Ninja or something to that effect, and then you have people like myself who are not supporting anybody with Magic Ninja, it separates not only the Juggalo community, this divide, it also separates who's going to what shows.
Right.
And
yeah,
eventually,
man.
I think with this divide, if we don't stop bickering about this dumb shit anytime soon, you know, this Twizzler 17%er thing that's been going on for the last almost 2 years now. If things don't change soon, I honestly think that eventually we will be the product of our own destruction. We will be the ones who ended up killing the underground because we're not doing the support. And who the fuck wants to, you know, who the fuck in this community wants to see trash like fucking trap rap and fucking mumble shit thrive? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you, man. Like, the underground is definitely on that verge, and a lot of it has to do with this divide. Actually, for the most part, all of it has to do with this divide. You know, Tunnel Runners introduced us to so many people. The gatherings have, like, you know, broadened many Juggalos' horizons, you know, and yeah, Kung Fu Vampire, he's one of those people that's stuck in the middle, like, yo, what the fuck? You know, yeah, he's doing the best he can with it, you know, and it sucks. It sucks that things went down the way they did, because a lot of us just want to be able to enjoy that music, but certain situations have made it to where it's hard. You know, I'm a fan of Axe Murder Boys, and a lot of times whenever I try to listen to, you know, Young Wicked specifically, I have issues. I have issues, and it's not even because of, like, what happened with him and you know, fucking Jump Steady's daughter. To me, it's the way he acted afterwards. You know, I tried to show love whenever, you know, that baby was born, and it turned into him.
He put you on blast.
Yeah, like he put me on blast because I'm trying to show love, because, you know, he's got his eyes in the back of his head, fucking, you know, paranoid as a motherfucker, you know, not realizing, like, yo, like, I'm just a ninja showing love, and it is what it is, you know. But this divide has made it to where everybody's just kind of walking on eggshells.
Right. But, I got to tell you this, though, Callie Green. You know, I remember seeing that shit as it went down, like him putting you on blast about posting the picture of his kid and everything. And I had thought about that, like why he possibly would have acted the way that he acted. And I think it was because at the time, you know, everything that had gone down like that, and he just, you know, he wasn't feeling it. So, like, at some given point in time, he was basically just like, I can't fucking, like, you know, deal with anybody, even if it's, like, positive or negative. Everything in my mind will be negative because of the way things have been going down. And I would think, honestly, like, looking back at it now, like, it happened, but I really don't think that, you know, I'm very sure that over that time, you know, things have changed up. It's probably long and forgotten on his end, you know, keep it pushing and all of that. So I would say, you know, on your end, I would say, you know, I think it's cleared up.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
It's definitely, like, over the past year, gotten a lot easier. Like, it hurt me really bad, because that same year, like, you know, what was this, last year, I can't remember, but when that happened, I had just gotten my axe tat, you know, like, literally weeks before that. So it hit me hard when that happened. And, you know, at this point, it is what it is, you know, like, I'm cool with Bones, you know, I've kicked it with him. We got a track, you know, on Ninjas in Action 2, that's a Bones dub track, fucking dope as fuck. You know, I'm cool with all his boys. Jay Dirty, I constantly buy shit from that motherfucker out of the Psychopathic Museum. We've had some conversations. He's got a track on the Ninjas in Action tape as well. Saint Decay, who's Mind Shot, also canonized Camp, you know. I'm cool with all those motherfuckers. So it is what it is. It happened. But, so switching it up a little bit. So you said you've been YouTubing about 10 years now?
Yeah, almost 10 years.
So I remember originally I found out about you through the original Juggalos online.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what that is, because honestly, if there was no Juggalos online, there'd be no Carnival Spirits.
I can't take credit for much when it concerns Juggalos online, but I believe that the idea behind Juggalos online was that we were supposed to have a collaborative channel where any Juggalo could fucking just submit a video and put it up there and use that platform to help try to gain subscribers and views and things of that nature onto their channel. So that way it could, you know, like the idea of that was to try to like spiderweb out to other Juggalos. So like White Boy, CPN, the Boy Blue, those were the three main front runners of that fucking channel. And then they started adding other people like myself and Big Irish Juggalo, Turbo Girl, whoever at the time was popular, and we would throw a couple of videos hither and yon. That was supposed to be the idea. And then just to remind the people that are out there watching that if they want that support, you know, start submitting videos so that way their channels could thrive. You know, that's been one thing that we have always tried to do, was not just build up ourselves, but to also build up to other people. You know, and the idea kind of seemed pretty flush, but the problem ended up being that because of so many other Juggalos that were like subscribing to that channel due to the fucking promotion from CPN, White Boy, and the Boy Blue, Like those 3 guys ended up promoting that channel, and within a day or 2, that channel was already up for monetization. And there was an argument that ended up going down between CPN, White Boy, and Blue about where the money's going to go and how things are going to work and everything. And they basically just said, at some point, one of them just logged into the account, denied the fucking application, and shut down the site. Because that was the easiest way to fucking stagger the argument. There. Nobody gets monetization. Nobody's going to get a fucking edge. But because of that, that ended up splintering off other channels to start doing the collaborative thing. Of course, Blue ended up reopening Juggalos Online, and that ended up just being a channel for him. But there were also other channels and groups and cliques in the YouTube Juggalo community that ended up being created, such as like Juggalo a Day. Yeah, Juggalo a Day ended up being one of them. CarnivalSpirits, obviously, ended up having one. Juggalettes Are Us. I think the first collaborative channel that was ever done was Juggalos Are Us. And I think, because that was Killicoma and Low. And those were the only 2 guys that did that channel. And they had their own channels that they did shit on as well. But still, there was like a lot of other cliques and groups and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, because of Juggalos Online, CarnivalSpirits ended up being created, and that, you guys, I believe, started doing the things that we wanted to do with Juggalos Online, was just to start giving Juggalos with no name that wanted to create a chance to be able to create and get their names out.
Yeah, like we've been going strong for 7 years or so, but whenever I first started, actually making videos, I started out, I want to say it was Juggalo's Online Reboot, and then there was like that got deleted, and then it turned into Reloaded with Hobo Juggalo, and then I jumped on with Juggalo a Day for a while, was going strong with that for, I want to say like a year, and Juggalo a Day was ridiculous. I had a lot of fun doing that one, shout out to everyone that was part of that. I know you were part of the reboot of that as well. What happened with Juggalo a Day reboot?
What had happened was I ended up getting in touch with Fat Man Jersey, just on a whim. And at some point or another, he and I started talking about Juggalo a Day and how much fun he had with doing Juggalo a Day. And I was like, he thought of the idea of bringing it back. He told me that, he told me the concept of Juggalo a Day and what he wanted to do with it. And so we started talking to other ninjas. And the first person that we ended up talking to was Miss Juggalette. I hadn't talked to her in a while, and kind of caught up with her about how things were going between her and Spike, and and her kid and everything. And she ended up informing me that other things had moved on from there. But at some point or another, I ended up asking her about Juggalo a Day and if she was down to fucking redo it, because she was a pivotal motion in the original Juggalo a Day. She said that she was down for it, and I was like, okay, so I'm doing Monday, Jers is doing Tuesday. What day do you want to do? Friday? And she's like, yeah, she said that she wanted to do Friday because, it would be cool to have a chick at the very end of this fucking sausage festival that we were going to be planning on. But then, I don't remember if words spread around or whatnot, but at some point or another, we ended up also getting Big Nick, and I was talking to Nightmare Juggalo at the time, because of some things that were going south with him and the clique that he used to roll with, which was Juggalo Army, which was headed by Green ICP, who's now known as Twisted Clown the Magic Ninja, or Custom Ninja, or ninja something, whatever he is this week. But, I told him about it, and he at first was reluctant a little bit because he wasn't sure about doing a collaborative channel because of his past history with Juggalo Army. And I convinced him and told him that, it was going to be different because we were going to do things with a little bit more positivity. I ended up explaining to him how things were going to go down, and he was down. So I ended up doing my first video on Juggalo a Day. We already had a topic set, and I did my video. I submitted it and posted it on Monday. And within hours after that, within hours, I ended up getting a message from fucking Jared, and he basically got hit with a bout of fucking depression, and he didn't want to do Juggalo a Day anymore. He's like, just as keep doing it. You can keep doing it with everybody else as long as you just remain true to the formula. Okay, I guess. So I decided to take it upon myself to take the reins and roll with it. And eventually, because of his videos that he was posting on Juggalo a Day, that got Mackinhose's attention. And Mackinhose decided to jump in on it too because of a conversation that he had with Child's Play Ninja at the gathering that year. Because Child's Play Ninja had noticed that Mackinhose has not been making fucking videos. So he figured that this would be a good way to increase his platform and try to get more people to start watching him. I was like, all right, cool. You can have you can take Jersey's spot. But so we ended up doing that for about a year, and eventually, at some point or another, it kind of just started to like fade out a little bit. The reason why was, I think it was because on my end, like the way that we had the formula was, I did a video about the topic of the week on Monday, and then it would be followed up by Mackinhose. Then it was Big Nick, Nightmare, Miss Juggalette, and then we eventually also added Black and Red Ted. Because at the time, some of the videos that he was doing were fucking sweet. And like some of the Juggalo videos that he was doing was fucking cool, and it caught everybody's attention. Even CPN was caught by surprise at the way that this dude articulated things in his videos. And so, like, that would be our format, would be those people on those days, and then Sundays, we would be doing a live stream just talking about what the fuck ever, and just acting a fool, and then would go back to the same thing. But the problems that I was having with the channel was, the idea was that we would keep in contact with each other on Facebook Messenger if we had ideas about what we wanted to do topic-wise for the week. And nobody would end up submitting ideas. We wouldn't, we weren't talking about what we wanted to talk about. There were certain times where we did actually end up talking about things like, what do we want to do about, doing a Halloween theme for the month of October, and we did that. That was probably like the one thing that everybody was down for, was doing that theme, doing the Christmas theme. But after that, it was kind of, eventually it would just be, nobody would be talking about shit on Saturday, and then Saturday would come up, and I'd hear somebody say, so what's so crazy, what's the topic? It started to feel like everything, literally everything was kind of falling on me. So, like, I would start making, I would have to scramble for 2 days straight to try to think of a topic, something that we hadn't talked about yet. What could we possibly throw up on there? And then eventually it just started getting to a point where I couldn't even come up with a topic until Monday. And then I'd scramble, record a fucking half-assed video, and upload it to YouTube. But then the other problem that I had was, I would, because of me being on Monday, I would make my video, and then Tuesday I'd hear, I agree with KREYZ. Wednesday, I agree with KREYZ. Thursday, I agree with KREYZ. Friday, I agree with KREYZ, and then try to add a little bit of extra flavor on top of the fucking pie that's already been baked for the last 5 days. You know, so it just started to become a continuous process, and I was starting to get burned out because of it. So eventually I just said, fuck it, I'm not going to make a video until somebody else comes up with a fucking topic other than myself. And it never fucking happened.
I could see how that'd be a huge burnout. Like, I remember whenever we were doing Juggalo a day, real quick before I get into this, gotta give it up one time for the Jers! You already know.
You already motherfucking know.
And if you don't, then, you know, go learn. Because he's been out of the game for a minute. But anyways.
If you don't know, now you know, motherfucker.
That's right. Whenever we did Juggalo a day, you know, back when I was doing it, the way we had it set up is that Sunday would be topic day. So we went down the list like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you know, all the way to Saturday, and we went in order. So let's say like you had Mondays, you come up with the first topic, then Jers comes up with the next week's topic, and so on. So that's how we had it set up before. And you know, eventually with Miss Juggalette and Spike, you know, moving in together and everything, they went and did their own thing, and things just kind of you know, imploded on itself. Yeah. And that situation, I mean, we don't have to talk about all that. That shit's crazy. But
well, the similar shit ended up happening with Miss Juggalette because, you know, she's married now. She has 2 kids. One of them had hip dysplasia, and so that took more time out of her fucking day than anything else, in being a stay-at-home mom. So that was one thing too. She would skip out on making videos, and you know, which probably did upset some of our viewers, because they're just like, where are our big ass titties on Friday? And it'd be like a week or 2 weeks straight without Miss Juggalette, and eventually I think Miss Juggalette just had to pull out because of having to take care of her children and things of that nature, which I told her, you know, that's fine, we can try to see if we can find somebody to replace. You know, I'll make an announcement on the channel at some point and make do. But I think I did actually eventually announce that Miss Juggalette had left Juggalo a day. I think I announced that on Facebook, and you know that, and I never was able to find somebody else to be able to do that. But eventually it was just like, you know what, fucking, just kind of closed the doors to Juggalo a day. I mean, the channel is still there, but you know, I think me and Black and Red Ted have actually been talking, and he really wants to do something with Juggalo a day. So I'm kind of on the fence of either jumping back into it or just saying fuck it and giving it to him and letting him do whatever it is that he wants with it. I'm not sure yet. We are still in talks about what we want to do. So I don't know. I guess anything's possible for the future of Juggalo a day.
Right. I know we had I think we called it the Daily Spirits. Yeah, we did the Daily Spirits for a while over here, and basically it was the same concept as Juggalo a day. You know, after that had gone on not being a thing for so many years, I eventually brought up the idea, you know, and it's like, yo, why don't we do like Juggalo a day, but just call it something else, because we're trying to get, you know, content on the channel, and it's like, it's a good way to, you know, have constant content. And I gotta admit, you know, the way we did it, we just would spitball ideas. You know, we have a Carnival Spirits super chat on Facebook where we're constantly just, it's kind of turned into like a big bullshit chat, honestly, which is cool. But, you know, when we first started the chat, like, we used to just use it to spitball ideas and just constantly have, you know, creative input in there. So I could see how it'd be kind of hard, you know, keeping something like that going, because we had struggled with it, and I think we had stopped for a little bit, and then Juggalo a day came back, and it was like, oh shit, hell yeah. And it was dope. It was dope to see another collab channel that was, you know, thriving, because, you know, as of right now, like, we have Carnival Spirits, and then Tales from the Lotus podcast, which, you know, shout out to those guys. But even their shit, it's not really like it's a continuous podcast. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they don't have like they're not doing. We're doing two completely different things. But
Right.
like what we're doing, it's more along the lines of original, like, you know, Juggalo's online concept, which shout out to Scotty Two Balls for creating Carnival Spirits. Shout out to everyone that was part of, you know, any fucking collab channel back in the day, everyone that was on Juggalo a Day, original, and, you know, the reboot. You know, met a lot of cool motherfuckers through this YouTube shit, and I'm sure you have too. You know,
Oh, yeah.
how
You
what's
know,
that
like-
feeling like? You know, like, because I haven't met a lot of people like in person that are from YouTube. What's that feeling like though? You know, like when you first met, you know, CPN or Beastmaster. You know.
When, let's see, you know, like, when the first time I met CPN in real life was actually at the Juggalo March, and it was a very long time in the making. You know, CPN and I have been good friends because of this YouTube shit for a very long time. We would talk on the phone, we'd be on BTR together. Back in the day, you know, Blog Talk Radio, that used to be the thing. Before they did, you know, live stream capabilities on YouTube. You know, and we watched each other's videos, and we watched each other grow, doing that type of shit. And then being at the march, and being into that hotel room, bumping into all of these other Juggalos that I've known for, you know, either a short time, like Sister Hatchet, or some people that I've known for the longest fucking time, like, you know, Beastmaster, or Mac and Hose, CPN and shit. It was like, this is a long time fucking coming, and I'm going to enjoy every fucking second of this that I possibly can. And just, you know, no kayfabe, no characters or anything like that when it concerns, you know, the stuff that we do on our channel, because, you know, some of the stuff that some of us do tend to be a little bit characteristic.
Right.
And I was like, this is the opportunity that I get to fucking actually be around the people that I've been, you know, that I've talked to over the phone with and things of that nature. It was just absolute euphoria. It was just, after a long time coming, it's just, finally this fucking happens. And after that, I was like, I've got to do this more often. Like, what the fuck have I been missing? I need to start doing things in order to ensure that I'm going to start being able to fucking meet up with other people, you know, go to big events and, you know, be with my homies or get recognized by people who watch my shit.
Hell yeah. I know that's got to be crazy. Like, you went and did, so you did the Juggalo March. I know you're also at the fucking GameCon. How the fuck was that?
DCGCon was, despite its fallacies, DCGCon was actually pretty fun as fucking hell. Mainly what I ended up doing there, besides playing fucking video games all day, I did a lot of, you know, mingling and hanging out with all of the other, you know, members of Carnival Spirit, Child's Play Ninja, fucking hanging out with Sid Jones, even though he takes it. You know, and meeting a lot of other Juggalos that have found some sort of popularity because of other means than being on YouTube. Getting to meet other ninjas, like members of the Reno Riders. Let's see, there's a long list. I'll guarantee that. You know, meeting members of the Reno Riders, bumping into Keegan the Creep Ass multiple times because, you know, he was doing a video game tournament as well. Fucking being introduced to fucking Flip Flop the Clown. That dude's a fucking riot. Like, even without the whole feet thing, he's a chill dude to fucking talk to. Let's see, I think I also bumped into Creeper and had a conversation with him. And then when I wasn't watching video games, or, you know, when I wasn't playing video games, or when I wasn't fucking mingling with other people, and Vinny the ICP Kid was another person on that list. I also ended up watching fucking Jug Goodman just get fucked up off of Four Loko, and that was entertaining as well. You know, so, you know, it was, you know, it's one of those things. Like I said, you know, meeting these Juggalos for the first time at the March, and I wanted more of it, and being able to do that again at DCG Con as well as Hallowicked, that, you know, that was great. And I continue to try to do the same fucking thing, even now at local shows or some shows that are within the same state.
Well, hell yeah, you know, I so wish I could make it to, like, the fucking gathering, or I was supposed to go to DCG Con, and, you know, like I said, like, I had a lot of fucked up shit happen in my direction, which prevented that, but, you know, that's probably the closest that anything's ever going to come to me being all the way on the West Coast, like, literally all the way. we don't get a lot of love here. You know, we got the E&J tours coming, but even whenever that shit's going down, like, around the time that Shaggy's coming is around the time that my wife's due. So we'll be having baby number.
Another one?
Yeah. I got number 4 on the way.
Jesus, you're officially better at procreating than I am.
Well, you have time to catch up because I went and got the snip. So.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about that myself and thinking 3's enough.
Yeah. You know, we were good with 2 because we had our son and our daughter, and then yeah, you know, shit happens. We were cool with 3, and then, you know, I went and got snipped, and right after we got snipped, found out that my wife is already pregnant. So she was like 2 months along whenever I got the snip. So
oh man.
So it's all good though. It's all good though. We're a big happy family, you know. I don't see myself making it out to a gathering this year, that's for sure, you know, this upcoming year, because I want to go to the 20th. My first gathering was the 10th. So, you know, 10-year anniversary, but I don't see that, honestly. I got to worry about upgrading car and housing. So,
right.
Yeah, that's you know, going to take over. But, you know.
I'm sure, though, that with the connections that we have now within the Jugganati, I'm very sure that there could possibly be a way for you to be able to make it to the gathering next year. Like, for real. Like, you have any idea how easy it is for you to get a flight? Basically, like for real, dude, you could probably get a flight from Cali over to Detroit, have somebody pick you up, and then drag you down to the gathering, and then, you know, get the flight back. You can there's ways on how you can round trip for under $200.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely something to think about. Like, I know Jugganati's tight. What's your involvement with the Jugganati, bringing them up?
I mean, to be perfectly honest, like, Jugganati is really doing in real life what we wanted to do with Juggalos Online. We are basically, in a way, you know, part of it is kind of in the sense of networking with other contacts and other Juggalos and other people, like, within the community and things of that nature. Once again, to not just build up ourselves, but to build up each other, and to actually put a good name out in the Juggalo community. The way that I looked at it with Jugganati when it first started was, we are kind of a group of Juggalos that are kind of fucking tired of all the brash bullshit that's been going down. You know, and there's a lot of shit that ends up happening within the underbelly of the Juggalo community that we're just not happy about. So somebody ended up coming up with a name in a chat in Discord, in our group chat Discord. They were the ones who came up with Jugganati as a name, and it kind of just snowballed from there. My involvement really is just, I really don't have much of an involvement. I hold the Jugganati as a namesake, But, you know, and I rep that shit hardcore. I believe in what it is that is being done. I guess the closest thing in connecting to the whole thing with Juggalo that I have was basically taking over the Juggalo Family Love group, Facebook group. And how that came about was I ended up having a chat with somebody who was a former admin of Juggalo Family Love in Discord, and somebody ended up taking screenshots of it and sent it over to the main dude at Juggalo Family Love. I had been kicked out of that, out of their admin chat for a long time. And that was due to the fact that I stopped talking to them a while ago. They came to me in the hopes of me sponsoring their group chat, like their Facebook group, and they would sponsor my shit. And eventually it just kind of fizzled out. I continued to promote their chat, their group page, even though I didn't really say anything about it. So I guess I stopped talking in their group chat. They kind of booted me out. But then, after, I think the day after I had this conversation with Dude, they invited me back into the chat just to fucking throw these pictures in my face and try to sweat me out like they did with a lot of other people. And I was in the middle of driving with my girlfriend in tow, and she hates it when I use Facebook Messenger or any chatting device while I'm driving. So I just let it go, and I was going to reply as soon as I could. And by the time I got back to it, they had already kicked me back out. But because of the fact that they invited me, I got to take a look at their entire backlog and find out who it was that ended up. I ended up finding out who it was that was taking pictures. I went on fucking YouTube, and with my own Snapchat, I ended up explaining all of this shit that went down, and I guess that pissed off some people. And one of their admins ended up locking everybody out and fucking gave somebody else in Juggalo the fucking ropes and said, "Here you go, do whatever it is that you want to do with it." And that was in retaliation for the way that they treated me. So because of that, we ended up taking over the Juggalo Family Love page and reformed it as Juggalo. At first, it was kind of confusing for a lot of people. Everybody was like, "Oh, I'm not into this Illuminati shit, fuck this," and they left. But a lot of people actually ended up giving it a fucking try. There's been a continuous rift between us and Juggalo Family Love. I think I got recently attacked by their admin again, probably about a month or two ago, and they were trying to fucking spread this. They were trying to spread this fake conversation between my ex-girlfriend and somebody else, and try to make it look like I was a pedophile or something like that. But because of some piece of evidence was missing, so the charges got dropped or whatever the fuck, I don't know. But I think it was hilarious, and I just was like, "Yeah, you're really fucking reaching." And that's all that they can really do is just race, because they got nothing on anybody. The only thing that they can do is they can just send doctored fucking Photoshop snapshots to people and try to scare them into shit. But it was like, I know your game, so whatever. Nothing's gonna change what people think about me. I'm too real for you.
Yeah, I know when that whole situation happened, it was very confusing, fucking hilarious, It was popping. Yeah. It was popping for at least a good month there. Oh my god. This shit had me dying.
Oh yeah.
Shit had me dying.
My fucking name was just because of that mere change, that was one of the things that actually helped get our name, the Juggalo, out there. And I honestly, I was just like, dude, if you know anything about fucking publicity, y'all were doing, those motherfuckers were doing nothing but just giving us publicity, trying to say, all you had to do is just say, "Oh yeah, this is like an Illuminati-related Juggalo thing," but it's like, no, dude, seriously, that's fucking stupid to even think that type of shit. But go ahead, go on with your fucking story. It doesn't matter to me. You're putting the name Jugganati out there. Now, unfortunately, I was not able to do anything with going to the gathering of the Juggalos to witness the spectacle that was the CPN fucking barbecue. And seeing them rolling around on their golf carts with Jugganati flags and shit of that nature. But I did get to see that at fucking Halawiki. Got to see the fucking Jugganati flag flying there in Wolf's car. But still, like, you know, like, to me, I feel like the whole thing with Jugganati and that, I mean, like, I already told you my involvement with it, but I think that what it is we're trying, like, there's some of us that are trying to fucking keep the networking thing going, so that way we can find, you know, that way we can expand our reach and let other people know that there are motherfuckers that are out there like us that are not down with the fuck shit, but at the same time, we want to help try to build this Juggalo community together. You know, you can rep Jugganati and still be a fan of Twisted and everybody at Magic Ninja and shit like that. Like, the idea basically is that, look, you respect my decision about about what I'm doing with this beef. We'll respect yours. There doesn't have to be any fucking arguments or anything like that. There doesn't even have to be any of that petty bullshit where, you know, it's like, oh, so you're not going to support Magic Ninja? Well, let me hike up my fucking diaper and attempt to slap you. You know, it's fuck shit like that we don't want to see. You can be pro-Magic Ninja, you can be anti-ICP, you can be vice versa, or you can be a gray Juggalo in the middle. It doesn't fucking matter. As long as, you know, all that really matters is that you are down with the fucking clout and you're not on some dumb fuck shit, and we'll be cool.
Yeah, there really needs to be, like, you know, and unfortunately it almost falls under, you know, I don't want to say it, but, you know, I'll put it like this, might be gang related, you know, whenever you get into some of that shit, you know what I mean? Because we really do need some regulation there, though, because there's a lot of fuck shit going on. I mean, DCG Con, that's a really good example. That was some straight fuckboy shit there.
Yeah, I agree to that 100%. You know, it's funny, I actually fucking ended up walking into the middle of that as it was going down. Like, I just went outside to go fucking smoke a cigarette, and before I know it, there's some kid that's getting the fuck beat out of him, and I didn't know what the fuck was going on or even what to do. And then I end up hearing somebody yell, "Yo, Frankie, blah, 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 blah." And I see this dude right next to me, and I'm like, where have I seen this dude before? And then they're like, him and like 4 other people just fucking jetted, jump into a car, and fucking take off. And so, like, the first thing I did was I finished up my cigarette, and as I'm smoking, BPN fucking comes in, and start, you know, he's acting a fool and shit. You know, what the fuck is up, blah, 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 hanging out of his lift. And I'm like, bro, shit just fucking went down. So, like, you know, I explained to him what had happened. I was like, dude, fucking BBS fucking came up here and ended up running roughshod on this kid. And fucking, like, after that, the police came, and CPN ended up fucking talking to the cops about the situation because they came to him as well. And, you know, everybody else was trying to fucking chime in their 2 cents about everything that had gone on, because there was a variety of witnesses of everything that fucking went down. And then after that, I fucking went into the hotel room, and I fucking told my ex-girlfriend and Ecoside Fiend about what had gone down, because we were all in the same room. Sid was passed out on the floor, and I woke up, you know, I told him the next morning what had went down. He was just like, why the fuck didn't you wake me up to this? I was like, you were sleeping. I didn't think that you would have considered it to be that big of a deal. He's like, dude, I'm here on a journalistic thing. Like, of course, I need to know these things. Fuck if I know. Nevertheless, though, you know, it's shit like that. Yeah. That, you know, we want, you know, we as Juggernaut want to fucking avoid. But fortunately, I guess, in that consideration, you get kind of fucking turned out to be all right for that, because fast forward to about maybe 2 months ago, on Facebook, Frankie Gunge ended up bragging about how he lied to the cops about everything that had gone down, admitted that everything that happened at DCG-Con was on his hands.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah,
shit.
and then, in turn, that ended up causing it so he got kicked out of fucking BBS. He's not a part of Dead Media, and I guess Dead Media ended up also closing their doors, I heard. I'm not 100% about that, but Karma ended up fucking taking into full of phys ed because of all of that shit that went down.
Yeah, like, it's crazy. Something like that should never happen. And, you know, if we need, you know, Jugganati, if Jugganati was there, that would not have happened. Definitely.
Like, I mean, like, there was a lot of Jugganati members that were there, you know, myself, Tuna,
right.
fucking Cincinnati was there, obviously, like me, Sid Jones, you know, a lot of members of Carnival Spirit. But, like, all of us were, you know, a lot of us were just kind of doing our own thing at the time that the shit was going down. Everybody was either inside or doing something else or something like that.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but I mean, Jugganati, it was something a little different at the time. You know what I mean? It's definitely evolved.
Yeah. In such a quick time, it has evolved, and, you know, we as a group, we want to do more positive things rather than just having people try to focus on the negative.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other things that that a lot of the other guys have come up with ideas about. You know, we want to do stuff for, like, you know, breast cancer awareness or Toys for Tots, or, you know, there was, like, another talk, I think, where they were talking about, like, a Thanksgiving thing, where we want to do, like, a Thanksgiving thing, and then after all of that shit, like, after all of the, you know, everybody's had their fill and stuff like that, we'll take whatever extra food and just give it to the poor people. You know, give the poor people and let them fucking do their thing.
See, that would be dope. Like, I know I was watching CP, and he did the Project Born interview. I can't remember, was it Nitty or Hulk? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was Frank Nitty.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it was Nitty. He did that interview, and they were talking about Jugganati, and I know, like, Nitty said that it'd be cool if you guys could get on some more shit like that, and I agree. Like, it'd be dope to see Jugganati getting out there, like, in the communities, and not even, like, necessarily just helping Juggalos, but just helping people, you know what I mean? Like, going, like you said, like, you know, the Thanksgiving thing, like, you know, after you're done having your guys' meal, like, afterwards, go out and, you know, feed the homeless, shit like that, you know, like, the Juggalo world really needs that, like, positive look in the media, because we get a lot of shit, since the beginning, you know, and it'd be dope, you know, to get out there and, like, I would like to help, you know what I mean, however I can. I mean, I'm not in the best situation myself, but I still, like, you know, whenever I can, I help out, you know. If I'm at Circle K and I do just so happen to have a little spare change, and I know it's someone that's not gonna go, like, just wasted on fucking heroin or whatever, you know, I'll throw them some change. Because, I mean, well, where I'm at, there's a lot of fucking, like, heroin and fucking meth junkies, like, you know, at this local Circle K. So, but every once in a while, you'll see that, you know what I mean, you'll see that veteran, or, you know, that person who you can tell, like, you know, yeah, they might buy a beer, but if that's what's going to help them get through the night, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Like, as long as they're, you know.
Before the whole Jugganati thing, I got a couple of stories for, you know, this as a prime example. I mean, even, like, either before Jugganati was even considered a thing, or, you know, just because of certain circumstances, I got 3 good stories. And 2 of them, I'll start off with the Juggalo March. So we were on our way over to go to the National Mall, and it was me, Maximum Overload, and Mackinhose. They, you know, like, we needed to get some stuff at the pharmacy, because there was a CVS right next door to where we were staying. We all walked in there, and there was a homeless guy that was sitting outside, he had nothing, like literally nothing. And he ended up asking Max if he could, you know, if he could spare something. He's just like, I'm going to go into the store, I got you, and whatnot. So we walk in there, and he fucking, you know, we grab whatever. You know, Max comes out, and he gives him one of those, you know, one of those microwavable cans of Campbell's, you know, or something to that effect. It was either Campbell's or Chef Boyardee or something. But, you know, got that, and ended up getting a spork or something, and gave it to the guy. You know, he said that, you know, like, he ended up mentioning that on Bill Simonova's podcast recently. He said he did that just, you know, because that's who he is as a person. So when we all, second story is, shortly after that, we ended up heading out to the National Mall, and we're standing at the street corner, and there's this homeless guy, like, you could just tell he hadn't ate in, like, 3 days. Because, like, when your body has not gotten any nourishment for a certain period of time, it starts to get a little stir-crazy and stuff like that. And this guy was just babbling to himself. And I was the one who ended up wearing the backpack that had all of the, my girlfriend and I at the time, she ended up making a bunch of sandwiches for us, because we were going to be at the National Mall all day. And, you know, had a bunch of ice in this backpack and some Faygo. So we, you know, she ends up looking at the guy. She tells me to turn around. She unzips the backpack, gives the guy 2 sandwiches and a can of Faygo. And as soon as she put it on the table that the guy was sitting at, he just hurt that motherfucker. Ripped open the fucking bag, ate the sandwich, and you could see in his eyes that in the middle of chewing this food, he was, you know, you could see in his eyes that he was saying thank you to us. You know, so those are 2 instances when it concerned fucking feeding the homeless and things of that nature. And it felt good seeing that we actually were able to help this dude. And we ended up seeing him later on that night, and he was all right. He wasn't as bad as he was when we first saw him that day. But, you know, it was still pretty bad that, you know, I'm pretty sure that sandwich was, you know, those 2 sandwiches was probably the only thing that he had to eat all fucking day. And he may or may not have to wait like another 3 days in order to get something else to eat, which was unfortunate. You know, so, and I think about that dude every now and again, and I actually hope he's doing all right. You know, I hope he's still alive and kicking and still able to make it strong. Now, the third and final story that I have, actually, I think this was right after Juggalo was formed. And it was when CPN was getting the PayPal donations to try to bid on Twisted's fucking eBay bowling tournament thing that was being held by, it was the Warp Board. And CPN ended up making the promise that if he was not able to win, then he would make refunds, and any refunds that, you know, if, you know, anybody wanted their money back, then they would get their money back, but if not, then the rest was going to go into a charity. Obviously, you know, if you watched that, then you saw that he got locked out, so he wasn't able to bid on it anymore. So he ended up saying that he was going to donate whatever money that he didn't give back to the donators. He was going to donate it to a charity. And somebody ended up saying, oh, he's probably going to donate all that fucking money to McDonald's. You know, trying to make fun of him. Well, CPN ended up flipping it around, and he did donate it to McDonald's, the Ronald McDonald House. And that's due to the fact that, well, I mean, obviously, that's a slap in the face to whoever tried to make that joke. But also at the same time, he's gotten history with Ronald McDonald House because that helped him out a long time ago. You know, so CPN ended up fucking donating it to the Ronald McDonald House to help other people in need of getting a home. You know, and there's more I believe that we as members of Juggalo are going to be jumping into and trying to help more communities and try to help out. Like, Frank Nitti is trying to help out with, cleaning water in Flint, Michigan still. You know, I mean, Flint, Michigan had that Flint water thing that happened like 3 years ago, and it was a big boom. But still, there are people like Project Born, and there's still people like the Dayton family, and I'm sure Light is a part of that as well, You know, they're all from Flint, Michigan. They want to ensure that their water is clean. Even people like Black and Red said in Warlockside, you know, those two want their water clean. You know, and there's only so much that you can do with donating bottles of water to try to help out with that. But, you know, like I'm getting at, there are people that are going to want to do that type of thing. There are going to be people that want to help donate to, you know, try to fix the problem, the homelessness problem, veterans of foreign war, things of that nature. You know, like I've had thoughts about trying to help the homeless for years, but it's so hard because in the state of Michigan they decriminalized panhandling about 5 or 6 years ago, and because of that, there are people now that do panhandling as a profession. There are people that will go home with possibly $100 to $500 in their pocket every fucking day because of them panhandling and all of that other stuff. Now, if you know, the way I look at it is like, I want to donate money to people who actually don't have homes. The people that are right now, during the winter, having no ability to go into a homeless shelter and sleep. The people who are freezing their asses off as we speak right now in downtown Grand Rapids. 3 years ago, I ended up hearing a story about a homeless guy who convinced another homeless person to beat the shit out of him so that way he could go to the hospital just so he could have a place to stay that was warm. I don't want to see that type of shit. I want to see these people that have been struggling somehow reverse it and thrive. I've even, you know, and, you know, my profession right now, you know, I'm self-employed. I do stuff for Uber and Lyft and Grubhub. And there have been a couple of times where I have had people order Ubers and Lyfts for homeless people just to get them around, and I've had conversations with them. And they struggle so hard. They want to get out of this, but they feel like that there's no hope for them because there's nobody that wants to help a homeless person. I want to help homeless people, but I don't want to help people that are holding signs showing a laundry list of their problems like, oh, I'm a Navy veteran, I don't have a job, I got 3 kids, a mortgage, and I'm about to get kicked out of my house. You're faking it, especially when you're wearing fucking lugs. Fuck you. I'm not going to help you. I'll help somebody who needs a beer, especially if they have a sign that says, why lie, I need a beer. I've actually went into a fucking Walgreens and bought beer for people who just wanted a beer.
Yeah, I feel it. You know, like living in Southern California, there's a lot of fucking, like the homeless rate here is ridiculous. You know, me and my wife, we were 2 fucking homeless kids at one time, like before we had kids. And then, you know, long story short, my mom didn't like my wife, so whenever she became homeless, which my wife was, she was like 15 at the time that she became homeless.
Yeah.
So, you know, my mom didn't like her, so she wasn't allowed to stay there. All right, well, fine. We're sleeping on the streets. I'm sleeping on the streets with her, you know, because I'm not gonna let, you know, fucking 15-year-old girlfriend sleep on the streets by herself, you know. So,
right.
We were on the streets for a while, and then, whenever my mom got word that she was pregnant, like, all right, you know, you guys can come in. So we came into the house, and then we ended up moving back to Indiana so that we could get on our feet, because trying to get our own place in Southern California, it wasn't happening. So we moved out to Indiana, got established, and, you know, got back to California when we could. But yeah, I know it's tough being homeless and feeling like there's no fucking hope for you, because when you're out there on the streets, that's all you have is those fucking streets, and it's a day-to-day struggle. You know, you want to walk in to a place and try to find a job, but you don't have a phone number, you don't have an address, you know, and nobody wants to give a job to someone who doesn't, you know, have an address. Who doesn't, you know, how are you supposed to get a call back if you don't have a phone number? You know, the struggle is, it's too real. It's too fucking real. So I definitely am vibing that. You know, it'd be cool to see Jugnaughty come together and, like, you know, maybe even do their own fucking organizations and shit to help a lot of these people out that really need that fucking help, because it's needed. It's definitely fucking needed.
Yeah, I came up with this idea about 2 years ago, and I just wish that I had the ability to fund it. But this was the idea, because I was doing the delivery with Grubhub, just driving around, and I was on my way to my drop-off, and I ended up seeing this abandoned school. And so I was looking at the size of this school, and I was like, you know, there's all of this space in this building that nobody is fucking using. All of the windows are boarded up, the doors are locked, blah, blah, blah. Like, why can't they just take that building? Why can't the state just take that building, renovate it, so that way they have, like, you know, you could just turn all the school classrooms or something, turn them all into a fucking apartment or something like that. Fix it up so that way it's like a studio apartment, and let homeless people stay there. Give them a certain amount of time. It's like, okay, look, this way you got an address. This way you got a phone number. This way you can actually go out and try to do something with your life and be able to have a job and save up that money. You know, like, I mean, obviously if it's a school, they've got a cafeteria. They have a place where they can possibly do, like, exercise or something like that, because there's a big gym or something like that. You know, staff the place so that way there is a place so that way somebody can actually eat when they're there. And then they go there and they'll be able to fucking come and go as they please. They have an address, they have a room, they have board, they have a phone number, for God's sakes, so that way people can contact them in order to get a job. Even if it's something as menial as fucking working at McDonald's, save up a couple of paychecks, be able to make that, be able to, you know, apply yourself so that way you can get the things that you need in order to get back up on your feet. I thought about why that type of shit isn't happening. Why can't the state just fucking buy out this building, remodel it, and turn it into a home for the homeless? And that's just in my city. I'm sure that every major city where there's a homelessness problem can actually have something like that and turn it around. Sure, they have homeless shelters, so that way certain homeless people, you know, as long as they're on the list and they have good behavior and shit like that, you might as well fucking go to prison. So that way you can have 3 hops in a cot. You know, so, like, you know, every major city has a building that nobody is using. You know, like, have that city buy that building, turn it into a home, give somebody, you know, let those homeless people stay there until they have, you know, as long as they're, like, able to do the things that they need to do, so that way they can get the hell out of there and move and get back up on their feet, have a job, have a car, have a phone, all that type of shit.
Yeah, there definitely needs to be more places like that. I mean, even just for people who are just simply homeless. I had, you know, a Juggalo homie that I worked with, actually recently, who, he got caught up in a fucked up situation. He moved out here from Texas, right, with the homegirl. So the two, they move out here from Texas. They move in with her, her grandparents. Mind you, they're not dating or anything like that. Just, you know, they just move out here together and end up working with them. And they got out of the chick's grandparents' house and moved in with some people from work. Well, the chick that they decided to move in with was just straight taking their money and not using it for any of the bills like she was supposed to. And then stole all their fucking money for like a few months, let the rent go, I want to say like 3 months, and then just up and left without saying shit. And one day that, you know, they come home and everybody's shit's gone except for theirs. they're not on a lease, anything like that. They found out that they were evicted. That's how they found out.
Damn.
So they just had to grab their fucking shit and go. She went back to her grandparents' house, but he wasn't allowed to go back there. So he's just left stranded. You know, he has a job, he had a fucking vehicle, but he didn't have anywhere to go. So what does he end up doing? Like, actually, I think I take that back. His vehicle got impounded. So he's just like fucking like sleeping wherever he can, like under a bridge and shit, you know? And that's gotta suck, you know? Fucking, you have a job and you're trying to show up to work. You're wearing the same dirty clothes you wore the day before. And not only that, but you fucking slept in them under a bridge. Like that kind of shit sucks, you know? And I eventually brought him into my house. Like, you know, he was really reluctant, didn't want to come in because, you know, I have a big family. But, you know, I'd be like, bro, like, you gotta at least come and take a shower, do your laundry. I have a washer dryer, you know, like I'd let him come over, do his laundry and shit. And then eventually I'm like, bro, just fucking stay here. And so, you know, he would stay here whenever he was desperately in need. Like, he really didn't want to like take advantage of me. He didn't want to feel like he was taking advantage of me. But there's a huge homeless problem in this country. And then, you know, the Flint water crisis, like, it's been more than 3 years, I believe. I want to say that first happened sometime between like 2012 and 2013. Some shit like that. And I mean, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, why is this not taken care of by this point? You know, has everybody just forgotten about fucking Flint? Because
yeah, pretty much. I mean, like, when our governor at the time, Snyder, he was actually taken to court because there were certain things that he was supposed to do as governor that he wasn't doing. And the judge actually ended up bringing up this list of all of the things that that Governor Snyder had actually written down, the things that he was going to take care of and in order. And somewhere along the bottom or bottom middle area of this list is the Flint water crisis. Like, he absolutely did not care about the Flint water crisis, and the judge reamed him out about all of that shit that was going down. He basically said, you know, there are children's lives at stake because of this shit, and this is where you put this in a level of importance.
yeah, that's fucked up.
It is fucked up. But, you know, like, and I'm sure, you know, I'm very hopeful that even that gets taken care of. And I know that there's a lot of problems within, you know, within this country where things are just fucked up and awry. I always try to remain hopeful that things will have a positive come around. And I think that that's one of the main things that the Juggernaut really want to fucking try to do is we want to help people.
Yeah, definitely. So, before we wrap this up, there's one last thing I gotta ask you about. You recently dropped a fucking song. What's good, man?
Yep.
Are you doing music now?
I've been on the bandwagon for music. I've been on and off it for about 13 years now. Back when I first started, like, I started, you know, like, everything music-wise I've done by myself, and, you know, whether it be, like, the producing, engineering, the mixing, the fucking writing, the vocals, everything, like, I do it all by myself, and every once in a while, like, I fucking get a burst of something that I want to fucking do, when it concerns the music aspect of shit, and like, I had, like, this song that you're talking about, Fantasy Becomes Reality, I wrote that and recorded it and everything. I did all of that, like, 3 years ago, and I kind of just sat on it. Like, I put it up on Reverb Nation, it was available for sales, and I pushed it a little bit, but, like, eventually I just, you know, priorities ended up fucking changing, where I ended up having another kid, and I was trying to fucking keep up with the bills, and all that other shit, and I kind of just put my music once again on the back burner. But I continue to try to remain faithful to who I was as a person, and what I wanted to do was some form of entertainment. But after seeing things rolling around because of the Juggalo situation, you know, like we've been doing a lot of pushing with Maximum Overload as the Fat Moon, and then there's, you know, other people like DJ Run for Cover from Tales from the Lotus podcast, Static Beats, you know, and a lot of other things that have kind of come into play. I mean, there's been a lot of people that that we've met over the last year or so that are involved in all sorts of different stuff, whether it be like, let's see, Coma Black. I mean, you know, like Coma Black, he does stuff with Photoshop. Juggalo John does stuff with Photoshop. Lakeland Lewis, he draws shit. We just got the Juggernaut logo redrawn by Tom Wood. You know, and we're starting to build some sort of a fucking network. Even Maximum Overload with his music, and Sid Jones, because of him, with his connect with the Latin American rock stars and Rock TV, and all of these other people that I could fucking just plug. But I've seen all of this stuff that everybody's been doing. Everybody's moving, everybody's shaking, everybody's doing things, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna test piece this, and then I'm going to share this with a couple of people. So I shared it with Run for Cover, and I shared it with Bob Rocks. And I was like, you know, tell me what you think about this. And fucking, I never got a response from Bob Rocks. But I also ended up seeing something from DC Run for Cover, and Ron was saying that he ended up having, you know, he was like, you know, I got this beat made, or I'm making this beat. It seems like it might be in your repertoire, because, you know, a lot of people know that I'm into video games, you know, retro video games and shit. So he made this retro video game beat, and he sent it to me, and I was like, well, check this out. And so, like, after that, he, like, without even asking me, he just sent it to Warlockside. And Warlockside ended up playing it on his episode of Pillow Talk, and I was like, people are starting to really dig my song, even though everybody thinks I sound like Jumpsteady. But I just decided, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to fucking upload it onto YouTube, you know, set it as a premiere, see what people think, and I've been getting a lot of positive responses about it. I was like, alright, fuck yeah, dude. Like, and then this beat that Run sent me seemed pretty fresh. I was like, okay, you know, I got a bunch of other stuff that was on the back burner back 3 years ago when I was doing beats on FL Studio. Maybe I could start writing shit for that too. I was, you know, so I don't know 100% what the future is going to hold for me, if I'm just going to, you know, continue to do stuff. But there have actually been some turnarounds because of this one song that I uploaded. One of those things ended up being that, I don't know if this is one of those, you know, one of those things that I can or can't speak on, but nobody's ever told me stay hush-hush about this, so I might as well fucking spill it on here. I got approached by Beastmaster, and he said that there are things that you guys at CarnivalSpirits are doing, and he asked me to be a part of your next mixtape. And I am 100% fucking down with that.
Well, fuck yeah.
So,
fuck yeah.
Yeah. You know, I ended up telling him, yeah, dude. He and I ended up getting on the phone, and we ended up talking details. I told him that because of that song, like, I re-downloaded FL Studio onto my laptop. I'm going to try to replicate the beat for Fantasy Becomes Reality, and maybe actually re-record it in an actual studio if I can. And if, you know, but just keep the original track on hold until, you know, until I get that done. But if I can't get that done in time, just release it with a regular track. So right now I'm thinking, you know, so right now I'm in the middle of trying to you know, in order to remaster the beat for Fantasy Becomes Reality. And the reason why is because I did that track on a different computer, and I never fucking transferred the information over to a different, to like a flash drive or anything like that. So I lost the master to it, so I got to remaster it.
Had that issue happen way too many times.
And that's just one of the happenings that's happened since I uploaded that video. The next one, I ended up sending it over to the Big Bad Wolf. And I told him, when you get the time, listen to this and let me know what you think. His response to that was, would you like a set, would you like to do a 15-minute set on the Jugganati stage for the pre-party at the Gathering of the Juggalos? Well, fuck yeah, I do.
Wow. Wow, that's fucking dope.
So I will be at the Gathering this year performing a 15-minute set with the Jugganati.
That's fucking dope. And I gotta say, I'd be interested in possibly submitting a fucking beat for you, bro, because, I don't know, you may or may not know, but I make beats too. I've been making beats for years, and a lot of my shit is more kind of video game-esque, so I think it'd be right up your alley, so I'm definitely down to fucking send you something.
Hell yeah, man. As of this point right now, when I started doing stuff in music was back in about 2004, 2005, when somebody ended up introducing me to Sony Acid Pro, which that program specialized in pre-made loops, and I some of the most fucked up fucking beats ever. Like, every single one of them sounded like fucking dubstep before dubstep was dubstep. Some sort of a weird fucking trippy EDM fucking bullshit, and I was like, I don't care what the beat sounds like, I'm just gonna fucking write wicked shit to it. And I did, and I made enough music to actually come out with a fucking MP, as a medium play, if you will. Kind of like, probably like 13 tracks, they're like 40 minutes long, and the whole thing sounded like crap. But eventually I ended up upgrading to FL Studio, and it took me some time to actually figure out how to make the beats myself. But the process of all of that shit, like coming up with a beat, just at random, making a fucking drum loop, and then trying to do something, trying to work my way around that is how I would actually do it. So like a vast majority of shit just kind of came at random. I would always start with a drum beat, and then try to figure out how to, what else to add on to that, and then after that, just like start writing. But all of that process and everything, like, that takes forever and a fucking day in order to do that. So the way I look at it is, like, right now, I'll take anybody's fucking beat, and I'll try to write some shit to it, and possibly even start uploading things some more.
Well, hell yeah, I'm definitely down to contribute. I've been meaning to get back in the fucking studio myself. Like, I've been doing music as well since about 04, 05. So I feel you there. And I remember Sony Acid Pro and Fruity Loops, and I remember I would be fucking sitting there making shit, and you always just, especially with Fruity Loops, you find yourself just falling into like techno-y sounding shit. It was so easy to just fall into that, but trying to keep a beat there, it was kind of rough. But I had a lot of fun doing that shit.
I will say this, though, the beat that I made for Fantasy Becomes Reality, I did that on my phone.
Oh, what? What app did you use for this?
They have FL Studio Mobile on both Android and Apple. And at the time, I had an Android phone, and I ended up doing that. They updated it since I first got it, and I don't like the Android update, and I'm pretty sure that the Apple update is no different. But I ended up actually, like, at the time I was working at a fucking plastic mold injection factory. And so what I would do is I would go on break, and I would just fiddle around with that on my phone for like 15, 20 minutes. and then go back inside, and I probably had that beat made in like 3 or 4 days.
Nice.
And then after that, I just listened to all of the beats that I made, transferred them over to my computer, and then after that, I just set up a microphone, recorded it, and mixed it properly, and fucking, rendered it to an MP3. And I thought that it actually sounded pretty fucking fresh.
Yeah, man, I need to get back on my beat making game. I have programs on my computer, and me and my homie, we've been doing music together now for since like 09-ish, and we've put a couple releases out there, but we've pulled all of our shit down because we didn't like the quality of it, and it is what it is. Now my homie's got a job where he is working like fucking 15-hour days plus, so it's kind of gotten in the way, and because of that, I just kind of fell off. But I've got some shit, in the works with Beastmaster, of course, for Ninjas in Action 2 and 3, because we have the next 2 mixtapes in the works right now. There's some things we want to do with the third one, and there's some things we want to do with, number 2. So we decided that, just kind of as it comes, just compile it, and not gonna lie, like 2's taken way too long at this point, but we have like a strong feeling that as soon as 2 drops, that 3 will be followed shortly after. But yeah, we have I have a track with Geno Colt shit that's gonna be coming out, and I'm super excited about that because we're supposed to be working with him. He was the first person I asked to be part of our Ninjas in Action cypher, and rest in peace. That never happened.
Right.
But then we ended up acquiring a fucking beat with Geno on the hook and an open verse. So that fucking just kind of fell into our lap, over the last few months. So there's that. Me and my homie are actually re-recorded a track that we did, so that's going to be on there as well with the music video. And then I got some stuff in the works with Beastmaster as well. I don't know if he talked to you about a certain track. I don't know if the space was still open or not. But there's a song you may be interested in if it's still available. It's supposed to be me, him, CPN, and I'm not sure who else. But we could talk. Do you know what song I'm talking about? Do you have?
No, I don't.
All right, I'll talk to you more about that after we're off the air.
All right.
But yeah, man, like it'd be dope to get you on the mixtape. If it's not 2, then number 3 is gonna be followed very shortly. So definitely looking forward to seeing some footage of you pre-gaming it with Jugganati at the gathering. That shit's gonna be fucking dope.
I'll probably be the only one in that group holding onto a Pepsi or something. If you know me, I've said it multiple times. I quit drinking a long time ago. I could party, I can mingle, and I can chill. I just don't fucking do it when I'm inebriated.
Honestly, I don't drink that often. I'm one of those dudes. Like the homie we were talking about earlier that was homeless for a bit. He moved back to Texas. A few months back, and that was the last time I really drank. And before that, it had been, I couldn't even tell you, I hardly ever drink. And beer, I'm not a big beer guy, so if I'm drinking, I'm drinking. And I hardly do that, so I'm right there with you. But all right, man. You got any shout outs or anything like that before we get out of here?
Well, if I go through the shout outs, I think it'll be probably another hour. But I mean, like shout outs in general are gonna go out to the Juggalo. Shout outs to CarnivalSpirits. Shout out to fucking every fucking made up name in the fucking thank you notes of every Joker card. You gotta get, and I honestly gotta say, like, earlier this year, Insane Clown Posse ended up shouting me and a bunch of other YouTubers out, and I gotta give a shout out back to Insane Clown Posse and Psychopathic Records. Because if it wasn't for them, then none of the shit that is going on would have even been possible. So I think, I honestly have to thank them for giving me this, this mindset, this mentality, of just not giving a fuck. Everything that I've done since the first time I ever listened to fucking Insane Clown Posse. I mean, I know it sounds like I'm fucking nut riding, but I don't give a shit. But I mean, I have to give them props, because like it's them that listening to them ended up giving me the confidence to become a person who I wanted to be, and ended up in turn fucking giving me great friends and great life and great family.
Well, hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, that's what's up. So, I guess that's it on this edition of Interview with the Juggalo. Thanks KREYZ for doing this. Like I said, it's been a long time in the making, a little too long.
Right, but it happened. It just happened.
Yeah, and like literally, like I just spurred of the moment hit you up today. And it was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna have the house to myself for a couple hours. Why don't I bust that shit out? So,
right.
I'm glad I made this happen.
To be perfectly honest, this probably wouldn't have happened if I didn't fucking quit my real job and went back to being self-employed.
Oh shit. Well, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and roll out of here. It's been CarnivalSpirits, We Those Ninjas in Action, Interview with the Juggalo, KREYZ McKORMIK. Be on the lookout. We got a lot of fresh shit coming. So, alright, peace out, you guys.
We are out this motherfucking bitch. Deuces.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop, whoop.